Alright, give me a second. Let me get set up. We're gonna start talking about today with First Maccabees, the first chapter. We're going to how essentially what we're seeing right now in America is the same thing that happened in ancient Rome. So first and foremost, I give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Ba'asim, 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 and double honors to the other bishops and apostles of Great Millstone that taught me this truth. Like I was saying, today I want to talk about how what we're seeing today in America is the same thing that was happening in the ancient Greek and Roman time period. And the reason why is because the same people are ruling, right? When you go into the scriptures, it talks about how there's nothing new. Let me get that in I'm pretty sure it's Ecclesiastes. Not sure where it's at. There's a scripture going into how there's nothing new under the sun, right? Everything that we see has pretty much it repeats itself, and the reason why is because it's the same spirits coming back reincarnated. So, what I'm touching on today is that what we're seeing right now is the same thing that's happening in the ancient Greek and Roman times. Right? The reason why is because it's the same Edomites here again. Now, going into First Maccabees, the first chapter, this has all the history of pretty much the Greeks coming up into power, right? And one of the reasons why these scriptures or books of the Bible are no longer in the original um, King James version today is because of the history and truth that it shows. Now, if you were to get a 1611 King James, you would have these books, right? They're called the apocryphal books, and they were taken off of the standard Bible by a group called the Bible Destruction Group. Reason, because of the truth in it, right? It reveals these Edomites' nature and what they were doing during this time period. Now, going into the history, let's start at verse First Maccabees chapter 1 and verse 41. It says, "Moreover, King Antiochus wrote to his whole kingdom that all should be one people, and every one should leave his laws. So all the heathen agreed according to the commandment of the king." Right? So that whole idea of one government, one rule, one everything, right? What they call today the New World Order. Okay, that's not nothing new. Okay, it's ancient. Right? The first account of that was the Tower of Babel, right? How um, they were trying to pretty much unify everybody, okay, and reach into the heavens with that giant, um, pretty much building they were creating. Right? They were aiming to have a one world government. But the Most High saw all that, and that's when he brought the confusion, right? Confuse the languages. But that idea of one world government, and we're seeing it right here. Right? King Antiochus was trying to bring it about. It says, "And everyone shall leave his law, so all the heathen agreed to according to the commandment of the king. Yea, many also of the Israelites consented to his religion, and sacrificed unto idols, and profaned the Sabbath. For the king had sent letters by messengers unto Jerusalem and the cities of Judah, that they should follow the strange laws of the land, and forbid burnt offerings and sacrifice, and drink offerings in the temple, and that they should profane the Sabbaths and festival days, and pollute the sanctuary and holy people, set up altars and groves and chapels of idols, and sacrifice swine's flesh and unclean beasts." Right? So, pretty much what King Antiochus was pushing. Let me put my phone on Do Not Disturb. What King Antiochus, his Edomite, was pushing was that these Israelites would stop following the commandments of the Lord and start following the Greekish fashion, the Greek ways. Start eating swine's flesh, right? Pork, something we're not supposed to do. And ultimately, it says that they should also leave their children uncircumcised and make their souls abominable with all manner of uncleanness and profanation, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances. Right, so the whole point of it is that he wanted us to forget the laws, the commandments, how to be righteous, and to just be wicked. Which, when you go into the history, that's exactly what happened. Right, the Israelites, being in the Greek captivity, from generation to generation, they grew up in a Greek way, a Greek lifestyle, okay, um, yeah, a Greek lifestyle essentially, and essentially they became Greeks. Okay, that's and this history right here is what's missing from the scriptures, right? And this is and these books, the apocryphal books, they go in between the Old Testament and the New Testament. This is the bridge that a lot of people are missing. That's why when you go into the New Testament and you read that hey, there's no difference between the Jew and neither the Greek, a lot of people get tripped up over that, and they try to come to the conclusion that the Most High say Yahweh Shai, okay, to come for everybody. Right? What they don't understand is that those Greeks, he's talking about the Israelites that were made, forced to be Greeks. Right? That's the thing is that they were forced. Okay? It says, verse 49, to the end they might forget the law and change all the ordinances, and whomsoever would not do according to the commandment of the king, he said he should die. Right? So it wasn't oh, if you want to be a Greek, follow our way, go ahead and do it. But if you don't, nothing will happen. No. It was follow the Greek way or you will be killed. And through fear, right, a lot of Israelites consented to the religion. Right, as it says, our people, hey, they obeyed. Right, they started eating pork and stopped honoring the Sabbath, stopped sacrificing it to Yahweh. Okay, and through generation, our people completely lost and who they lost the history. Okay, the heritage of how it's supposed to be. And that's when you go into the New Testament, and those when you read no difference between Jew or Greek, and those Greeks is talking about Israelites that were after the Greek way. Okay, they were referred to as Greeks. Okay, the same thing today, right? And before we knew we were Israelites, what were we doing? Okay, we were following the American way. Okay, we were out here celebrating Christmas, Halloween, Thanksgiving, birthdays. Okay, that's what we were into. Smoking weed, all this bullshit. What is that? What were we in? We were in the American way. We were essentially Americans. We were Americanized. So it's the same thing back then. Even though we were Americans, Americanized, we're still Israelites. Okay, now we're coming back to that heritage and the holy commandments, the holy way. So that's what a lot of people don't understand. Right? They read Greek and just think, oh, this has to be talking about a heathen. No. When you actually go into the root word of Grecian, okay, it goes into or Greek, it goes into I think it's Helen, which goes into a person that lives the way of the Greeks. That's what it goes into. A person that lives the way of the Greeks. Okay, that is imitating, living in the land. That's all it's going into. Okay, so that's the history of that. Right, we're reading it how right here how it came to that point. And the key point I wanted to touch on is that right, verse 57, verse 56, it says, and when they had rent in pieces the books of the law which they found, they burnt them with fire. And whosoever was found with any book of the testament, or if any committed to the law, the king's commandment was that they should put him to death. Right? So even having the scriptures, okay, reading them, it was strict. It was strictly prohibited. And what I wanted to touch on is that this happened back then. And if it happened back then, that means it's going to happen today once again. Right? These same Edomites are in power, and they hate the ways of the Most High. Right? They hate them. So, and when Yahweh Shah was talking about persecution, it's going to happen. Right? The same way Antiochus was talking about none of y'all can follow the commandments, right? Strictly punishment, death for following the commandments. Those same Edomites are here today, and they're about to push forth the same laws, right? Let's read it in Revelation. Hopefully that music across the street is not too loud. Revelation chapter 12 and verse 12, it says, "Therefore rejoice, ye heavens, and ye that dwell in them. Woe to the inhabitants of the earth and of the sea. For the devil is come down unto you having great wrath, because he knoweth that he hath but a short time." Right? When you go into that word devil, it just means adversary. Right? And who are the adversaries right now? Hey, these Edomites in power. Right? And they're about to start coming down with great wrath. Okay, this government, the elites, because they know that they have but a short time. Right? Scriptures talk about how these Edomites are wiser than Daniel. Right? These Edomites, the elites in power right now, they know the prophecies. Right? They know what's going on. They know that we're living out a Bible prophecy. Daniel chapter 2, Daniel chapter 7. Right now we're in the last beast. Okay, the Roman Empire. They know all that. Right? They know that it was prophesied that the prophets were going to come back, right? Preach the word and wake up the dry bones. They know all that. But do they also know that once the Israelites start waking back up, that their kingdom is about to go down? So when it talks about how he shall come down with great wrath because he knoweth that he has but a short time, they're really going to start pushing that 2030 agenda. Right? They're going to really start pushing towards everything being digitized, everything being um, controlled, right? 15-minute smart cities, that's one of their plans. And it was actually brought to the attention that recently we had one of those hurricanes in Tampa. It completely destroyed a lot of Tampa, if I remember correctly. It was Hurricane Helene, ran through Tampa. And a couple months before that, there was already plans plans set forth about how Tampa was a 15-minute smart city, right? How they wanted to construct that. Like, so, what a coincidence that we have a hurricane pass through Tampa, and they had those plans set up months ago, before the hurricane. Right, there was a bunch of more information showing you that hurricane was ultimately set up. Right, the government created that hurricane, and they do have the technology to be able to control the weather. Okay, it's actually patented. It's patented. Right, the technology to do that is patented by the U.S. government. Search it up on Google. So, where am I getting with all this? These devils are about to start coming down with great wrath. They're going to start persecuting those that are being righteous, following the commandments. Okay, another place we can go there, 2nd Ezra chapter 16. Second Ezra chapter 16 and verse 69, it says, "And they that consent unto them," "and they that consent unto them shall be had in derision and reproach and trodden underfoot." Right, this is going into those that bow down into what the elites say, those that follow exactly what the government is going to push, right? Those that take the chip, okay, those that comply with the 15-minute smart cities or whatever they're trying to push. Okay, those that consent, they're going to be had in derision and in reproach and trodden underfoot. Right? These people are going to bow down to the image of the beast, okay, this technocracy, thinking that it's going to benefit them. That at the end of the day, these elites don't give a fuck about what you think, okay, about your freedom. They're literally deceiving you to have full control over your body and your spirit. And it's gonna get to a point where that technology is gonna be inside of you, right? People take the chip, and once they do that, they have full control over you, okay? Full control. If you don't take the latest vaccine, guess what? You can't use that chip no more, right? It's ineligible. It doesn't work at your local Walmart, right? If you don't are speaking rightly online, guess what? You can't log in online anymore, right? So that's full control. And another point is that, specifically the one in the head, they're pretty much hijacking your brain. If they wanted to, they can send a strong enough electrical impulse to literally fry your brain. Okay? They literally can do that the same way they can heal you, perform those miracles to make hey, blind people able to see again, people that are paraplegic able to walk again, hey, they can literally shut it down. Right? So if you're talking shit, you got that shit in you, the chip in you, they can literally make you blind. They can make you not able to walk again. So those are all parts of when it talks about, and they that consent unto them shall be in derision and in reproach and trodden under foot. For there shall be in every place and in the next cities a great insurrection upon those that fear Yahweh. Right? So in every place, okay, worldwide, okay, in every city in America, there's going to be a great insurrection, okay, rising up upon those that fear Yahweh. Okay, fear the Lord. How do you know those that fear the Lord? They keep the commandments. Okay, they're going to stand stiffly for the name of the Lord and not take the chip. Okay, that's going to be the great separation between the whole world and the elect. Is that the elect, no matter what, are not going to take the chip. No matter what. Right? So that's going to separate us. Right? That's literally what holy means, is separate. So, hey, there's going to be a point in time where everybody knows about the Hebrew Israelites and what we stand for. Okay, and right now it's actually being publicized even more. Right? You have this YouTuber, forgot his name, but he's got roughly 600,000 subscribers out here making videos talking about confronting a racist cult, you know. And this guy, this Edomite, right? I could say he's an Edomite because he's spiritual. This Edomite went up to some brothers, some camp, not sure their name, but he was pretty much trying to talk shit, right? Completely disregarding the scriptures that the brothers were bringing out, right? Saying that the scriptures we were bringing out, that he was bringing out, were out of context, right? And ultimately, what was happening is that he was getting cut, right? The brother was bringing out scriptures that was completely cutting the doctrine that he believes in, and it's a problem, right? So more and more YouTubers are now making videos. Oh, the Hebrew Israelites, the black Hebrew Israelites, right? Which that's a whole social construct, and it's getting more and more publicity, as it's supposed to, right? We're supposed to be a target for what we preach, okay? Not you know, a love everybody type of thing. No, scriptures talk about how this word is supposed to divide. Yahweh Shai talked about how he came out to bring peace, right? But division. He came to bring a sword, okay? Set a mother against the daughter, the father against the son, for what we believe in, and that's exactly what's happening. So there's gonna get a point where we're gonna have more YouTubers. We're gonna have the news talking about the Hebrew Israelites, and the whole world is gonna know. Okay, that these people, they believe in this, right? They're extremists, and they're not gonna take that chip. So, hey, we're gonna be a target. We're gonna be a target for what we believe in, and it's gonna be worldwide. It says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh." Right? So these people out here, they're gonna have to have some type of incentive to come against the believers. Okay, might be a monetary incentive of, hey, go take these people out. We'll give you a certain amount of money. Might be a philosophical incentive of, go take these people out because they're a threat to our society. You know, but there's gonna be some type of incentive to come against those that fear the Lord. And it says they're gonna be like madmen, okay, sparing none. So if they catch you, it talks about how some of us are going to be martyrs, right? Some of us are going to be beheaded for the witness of Yahweh Shah HaMashiach. So being put to death for what you believe in. Some of us are going to have to go through with that. They're going to catch some of us. So that's just part of the condition of the battle, man. This is part of it. But it says, "They shall be like madmen, sparing none, but still spoiling and destroying those that fear Yahweh. For they shall waste and take away their goods and cast them out of their houses." Right? So, hey, there's another scripture up top. Goes into how it's actually in 2nd Ezra chapter 15 and verse 19. It says, "A man shall have no pity upon his neighbor, but shall destroy their houses with the sword and spoil their goods because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation." Right? So, hey, spoiling those that fear the Lord and taking their goods, casting them out of their houses. Okay, here it talks about, hey, your neighbor's gonna kick in your door because of the lack of bread and for great tribulation. Okay, there's gonna be a point where, as it says, because iniquity shall abound, the love of many shall wax cold. There's gonna be a point where your neighbor, okay, your homeboy, you've known him your entire life, he's not gonna care about none of that. He's going to be worrying about, hey, how am I gonna survive? How am I gonna eat? Okay, how am I gonna get by today? How am I gonna take care of my family? Everything's gonna be how. Okay, they're not gonna have spiritual resolutions. Okay, everything that they're gonna think of is gonna be carnal. It's gonna be take. Okay, who has that I can take from? That's all they're gonna be thinking about. Okay, they're not gonna be thinking about farming because that takes too long. They need it now. So what's the easiest solution? They go see what your neighbor has, and that's exactly what's gonna happen, right? Hey, think about all these military movies, right? Hey, foot on the door, AR-15, all that. So that's just a little a visual representation of what the scriptures talk about. When you read the prophecies, these prophecies are meant to be visualized. These prophecies are meant for you to really ponder on and get your mind ready, right? It says that in Ezra that um, we're supposed to put off the weak nature. Let's get that. Second Ezra chapter 14 and verse 13 it says, "And now therefore set thine house in order, and reprove thy people, comfort such of them as be in trouble, and now renounce corruption. Let go from the mortal thoughts, cast away the burdens of man, put off now the weak nature, and set aside the thoughts that are most heavy unto thee, and haste thee to flee from these times. For yet greater evils than those which thou hast seen happen shall be done hereafter." Right? So Ezra is saying, hey, anything you're worrying about, right? Anything, uh, as it says, any of your mortal thoughts, any of the burdens that you have on you, and that weak nature that you have, hey, put that all to the side, right? Because worse times, greater evils than thou which thou hast seen shall happen, shall be done hereafter. So, and we're gonna see the worst of the worst, right? So get your mind prepared, right? And going back to what I was saying, that's why when you read the prophecies, you're supposed to visualize and get your mind ready for what it says, right? Something the brothers always talk about is, hey, if this were to go down right now, would you be ready? Would you be ready to move out here on straight faith? Okay, move out here trusting in Yahweh Bashim Yahushai, trusting that not having no food, no water, somehow is going to pop up. Do you have that type of faith? Right? Because that's what's going to be required. Okay? That's exactly what's going to be required is not seeing nothing at all, not seeing any type of way to get food or water, but just knowing it's going to take place. Just knowing that the Lord got you and you're going to find something. He's going to make it appear. So, you got to think on that. But, let's go back to 2nd Ezra chapter 16. And part of having that faith is going through faith builders before the big test comes. Going through little tests before the big test comes, right? Because through these little tests and trials and tribulations that we're going through right now, and having faith through this, every single time that if we're going through something right now, and you have faith, you just know the Lord's gonna come through, and when He does come through, and that makes you like reassured. It makes you think like, you know what? The Lord got me, man. He just showed me. So when that big test comes, we're gonna think back and be like, you know what? I know the Lord got me now because remember that time I had no bread, no job, no outlook of how to make it, and the Lord came through. Yeah. Hey, remember that time He came through. Remember that time and that time. Hey, all those are gonna be testimonies of, hey, this time He for sure is gonna come through, right? When I need Him the most. So, right now what we're going through is part of the process of the story of having the faith in the end times, right? The true test. Jacob's trouble, as it says. So going back to 2nd Ezra chapter 16, it says, "For they shall waste and take away their goods, and cast them out of their houses. Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as the gold in the fire." Right? So in that day, we're going to see, hey, who are really the chosen of Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. right? Because the chosen, the elect, no matter hey, what they put in front of us, are gonna the chosen, the elect, are gonna stand still. We're not gonna bend down to any types of incentives or nothing that's thrown, no matter how hard it gets. Okay. Ultimately, when you go into how Yahweh is gonna sift the house of Israel, and that's part of it. That's the great sifting too. Is Jacob's trouble. Right, we're gonna really see who are the tares, right? Those that are just doing this for monetary gain, right? Doing this to get a name. And that wasn't even supposed to rhyme, but doing this for filthy lucre's sake. And the day of Jacob's trouble, we're gonna see that who's really down. And it says that they shall be tried as the gold in the fire, right? So it's gonna be a trial like you've never experienced, right? A trial like you never experienced. And something that always comes to mind when I think about that is I envision being in a situation where it's literally no food, no water, right? At your house, being kicked down, door kicked down, um, surrounded by military men, AR-15s to your brain. What are you doing? You know, that's a situation where you don't got any carnal solution. It's like, what are you doing? And the only answer is Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right, being thrown in prison and forgotten about. What are you doing? Trusting Yahweh Bashim Yahushua. Right? So that's going to be the answer for everything is trusting Yahweh Bashim Yahushua, no matter what situation. Hey, it's going to be crazy. And the craziest part is that none of these people out here, majority of people are not even worrying about this. Majority of people are worrying about, tomorrow. They're worrying about getting their money up. They're worrying about, the next car, the bigger house. All carnal things, which ultimately are not important at all. We should really be focusing on is, the fear of Yahweh Ba'Shem Yahushua. Right? We should be focused on prophecy. Okay? If these people in these churches were in the right mind, they would be focused on prophecies. But they aren't. Okay? What they teach in the church is a false doctrine. Right? Let's get that point about how we're supposed to be focused on prophecies. Salakia. This is not second Ezra. This is Romans. Look at, hear me, man. Revelation chapter 19 and verse 10 it says, "And I fell at his feet to worship him. And he said unto me, See thou do it not. I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren that have the testimony of Yahweh Shai. Worship Yahweh, for the testimony of Yahweh Shai is the spirit of prophecy." Right? So that's that's the mindset we're supposed to have. That true believers, okay, are supposed to have is being in the spirit of prophecy, worrying about what is coming, worrying about what you're doing today to get you prepared, right? But a majority of these people are not in that mindset, specifically those in the church. Right? What the modern church today teaches is they dance it up, live it up, right? Sing some songs, and call it a day every Sunday, right? And you'll be fine. Complete nonsense and complete contrary to what the scriptures say. Something that always ticks my boxes, man, pisses me off is how they teach that the laws are done away with. That we don't gotta follow the laws of the Most High. Okay, the ways of righteousness. It's wicked as all hell, man. They're literally teaching you to be wicked, telling you it's okay to eat pork, commit all types of abominations. Through. So let's go back to 2nd Ezra 16. It says, "Then shall they be known who are my chosen, and they shall be tried as a gold in the fire. Hear, O ye my beloved, saith Yahweh, behold, the days of trouble are at hand, but I will deliver you from the same. Be ye not afraid, neither doubt, for God is your God. And the God of them who keep my commandments and precepts, saith Yahweh, let not your sins weigh you down, and let not your iniquities lift up themselves." Right? So, it literally says, "Oh my beloved," right? Don't be afraid, neither doubt, for the Most High is your God. Right? And the God of them that keep my way. So we ain't got nothing to worry about if we're being righteous, if we're following what the Most High told us to do. We ain't got nothing to worry about. Okay? So this is comfort. And it's funny that I watched the video the other day. Yes, some Jake in the world, he was talking about how I see all these videos, right? I see all these videos of you guys talking about how you want America to go down. But if you want America to go down, what are you gonna do? Right? You're in the middle of America. If America goes down, it falls upon you. Right? What are you gonna do? You're gonna go to Africa with the little money that you have? Right? And it was funny that, hey, what we're gonna do is trust in Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, right? Hey, we're not trying to make it out here, hey, on a ship or a cargo ship, make it out here on planes. Hey, we're waiting for Yahweh Bashim Yahweh, hey, to come through. That's what we're doing. So, that was funny to hear that. But let's go to. Can you get it in Job? Let's get that. Let's check it up. Alright. I know it was sold somewhere in. Oh, Deep Sleep. That's what it was. So, let's talk about Job chapter 33 and verse 15 is what I wanted to get. So going into how the Most High, and it talks about how, hey, he's our God, right? The God of them that keep my commandments and my precepts. This is Job chapter 33 and verse 14. It says, for God speaketh once, yea, twice, yet man perceiveth it not. Right? Going into how a lot of the times the Most High, and he's showing us signs of where to go, what to do. But we ain't seeing it. We ain't perceiving what he's trying to show us. Right? We're being ignorant. It says, in a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, and slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men, and sealeth their instruction, that he may withdraw man from his purpose, and hide a pride from man. Right? So this goes to show you the Most High is in control. When you're in deep sleep, right, literally, hey, you're asleep, right? You've fallen asleep. That's when the Most High comes and seals in your instruction for the next day. Okay? He puts in your mind what coffee you're gonna drink, okay? What foot you're gonna set forth when you get out of your bed, whether it's left or right, the way you're gonna brush your teeth. He has all that calculated, okay? Showing you that he's the one in control. And it says that he may withdraw man from his purpose and hide pride from man. Right? So taking you off of what you think you're gonna do. Right? You think tomorrow you're gonna wake up, you're gonna go work out, you're gonna go do this and that and that. But in actuality, hey, you're gonna do what he wants you to do. Right? You might wake up the next day completely sick, out of your mind, and whatever you thought you're gonna do, it doesn't. It no matter is it worse, So that's why scriptures talk about how, and we gotta say Lord willing for everything. Right? I want to do this, Lord willing, right? Because it's the Lord's will. It's not yours. Another one that talks about this, Proverbs chapter 21 and verse 1, says, the king's heart is in the hand of Yahweh, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right? So the king's heart, which when you go into that word heart in Hebrew, the Hebrew word is lab, which means mind. Right? It's because, hey, the Most High is working on the mind. So it says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, and as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. Right? So this shows that all these kings, right now, perfect example, all these presidents, you got that guy in Ukraine, Zelensky, you got that guy in Israel, Benjamin Netanyahu. Hey, the Most High Yahweh is working on their minds to make them go into war. Right? That's why, and you see all these people, a perfect example. You had a couple months ago, you had the United Nations came together, all the nations came together to decide on what to do on the conflict of Israel versus Hamas, Palestine. Right? They came together to vote peace. Right? Are we going to go in peace with them, or are we going to continue war? And every single country voted, let's go to peace. Yes, peace. Besides Israel and United States. Those were the only two nations out of 80 something nations that said no, we want war. And what happened? War continued. Now we've escalated the conflict. Now somebody on the outside will look at that and be like, why is it that the US and Israel both said war? Why do they want peace? The reason they both want war is because a Yahweh Bahashim Yahweh Shai wants war, right? He is working on the minds of those leaders to go to war. He is the one that is putting it in their mind to think, hey, sword, okay, division, because it's written in the prophecies that World War III is going to take place. So let's actually get that. The scripture dealing with that. How this is the Lord's determination. In Joel chapter 3 and verse 1, it says, for behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Right, so this is talking about the salvation, right? When he's going to bring back the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem. Right? Judah is talking about the southern kingdom. Jerusalem is symbolic for the northern kingdom. And he's talking about a saving all 12 tribes, specifically the elect. It says, I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Yehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, who they have scattered amongst the nations and parted my land. Right? So, right next to the salvation is the destruction of these nations. It says that he is the one that is going to gather all nations and bring them into the valley of Yehoshaphat, which that means Yahweh's judgment. Okay? And that valley of Yahweh's judgment is going to be over there in the so-called Middle East. Okay, over there around Saudi Arabia, okay, Syria, is where World War III is going to take place. Right? But the key point is that he is the one that's gathering them. And he is working on the minds of these kings to bring them to war. Right? Get them all together fighting each other so when he comes back, it's an easy wipeout. Right? Instead of having to take down a nation over here and over here and over here, it's all going to be in a central location. When you read 2nd Ezra 13th chapter, it talks about that. Okay, it talks about how these nations, they're going to be fighting each other, and when they see Yahweh Shai come back, and he's just going to rinse them in a blink of an eye. Let's get that. In 2nd Ezra chapter 13 and verse 29, it says, behold, the days come when the Most High will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Right? Because these people ain't expecting a Yahweh Shai to come back. They ain't expecting a so-called black man, right, with white woolly hair to come back. Right? They're expecting a Caesarea Borgia, right? Blonde hair, blue eyes, which is completely the wrong depiction. It says, and one shall undertake to fight against another, one city against another, one place against another, one people against another, and one realm against another. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed you before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. Right? So it talks about how, before Yahweh Shai comes back, we're going to be seeing nations fighting against nations. It says in Luke chapter 12 and verse 49 that he comes to send fire on the earth, but what will he if it's already kindled? Right? So once again, he's coming to send fire on the earth. But woe will he if it's already kindled? Showing you that when he comes back, this whole world is already going to be on fire. Right? It's all going to be chaotic. And he's going to bring even more. So it says, and the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen which I showed you before, and then shall my son be declared, whom thou sawest as a man ascending. And when all the people hear his voice, every man shall in their own land leave the battle they have once against another, and an innumerable multitude shall be gathered together, as thou sawest them willing to come and to overcome him by fighting. Right? So, what I was saying, right? While these nations are all fighting against each other, when they see Yahweh Shai come back, they're all going to come together to fight him. So think about, Russia is coming against America, right? Israel coming against Russia. Israel and Russia are going to come together. to fight against Yahushua. It says, but he shall stand upon the top of the Mount Zion, and Zion shall come and shall be shown to all men, being prepared and builded, like as thou sawest the hill graven without hands. And this my son shall rebuke the wicked inventions of those nations, which for their wicked life are fallen into the tempest. Right? So, and he's going to destroy them. Right? It's the point of the story. When you go up in the same chapter, it actually gives more detail how it's going to happen. It says, verse 8, it says, after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, yet durst fight. Right? So all these people, men that are going to fight Yahushua, talks about how they were afraid, but they still fought. Right? Why is that? Because the Most High is making them fight. Okay, they're going to be out here shooting themselves in those fighter planes, but they're still going to do it. Okay? It says, and lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lifted up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire, and out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burned them up every one, so that upon a sudden of innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Right, so it says that Yahushua, right, hey, he didn't have a sword, he didn't lift up his hand, nor any instrument of war. Okay, only out of his mouth came pretty much electricity, fire, wind, and destroyed this entire nation, all these people, like that, instantly. Okay, as it says, upon an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and the smell of smoke. So, hey, they were vaporized. The Yahushua did that with spiritual power. So, hey, that's going to be a sight to see. It says that when Ezra saw this, he said, I was afraid. Right, Ezra with all his faith. Okay, you read about, he was talking about a woe to the world, woe to the inhabitants of the world. Right, woe means destruction. Okay, what he was seeing, and he himself was like, damn, who's going to deliver me in those days? Right, the reason he said who's going to deliver me in those days is because Ezra is here today, doing the work. Ezra is here today, to see Jacob's trouble, World War III, everything that he saw 2,500 years ago. So, it's going to be a hell of a time, right? A time like never before seen. So, what we're seeing right now is the build-up to that. What we're seeing, like I said, scriptures talk about how the least of the flock shall draw them out, right? Talking about those Israelis, so-called Jewish, right? They are going to be the ones that bring forth World War III. And the way it's going to happen, and it's been happening already, starts with Israel versus Palestine. Then it escalates to Israel versus Lebanon. Now it's escalated to Israel versus Iran. Eventually it's going to escalate to Israel versus Russia, because Russia is backing Iran. And once we get to that point of Israel versus Russia, who's backing Israel? America. And that's where you get America versus Russia. And you have the East versus the West, which is World War III. But right now, slowly but surely it's getting to that point. Right, recently we've seen Israel versus Syria. Right, Syria has completely fallen under the attacks of rebel groups, as they say. Okay, so it's so bad that the Syrian president fled to Moscow for refuge. Okay, and Israel is right now, Israel plus America are heavily bombing Syria. Okay, and trying to just destroy it. Yet recently, President Biden talking about how, yeah, we're going to go over into Syria to rebuild it, okay, and set control. And he's talking about making that place, sending over there, or going over there and setting up a U.S. military camps by getting that all under the control of America. And what's the problem? Russia is not going to let that happen. Iran is not going to let that happen, right? Syria is an ally of both of Russia and Iran, right? So we're going to get a conflict now on a different angle of America versus Russia. You know, and the thing of the matter is that, hey, this war, the fact of the matter, Salaki, is that World War III is going to happen from multiple fronts, right? It's not just going to be one front of us getting, or America coming to World War III, or America crumbling. No, America is going to get dragged into this from multiple points. Okay, we got the Ukraine-Russia conflict. We got the Syria conflict now. We got Israel versus Palestine conflict. Right, this is happening on a bunch of scales. Right, and the key point too is that America is not going to fall by the way of one thing. Right, it's going to be a combination of things. The reason why is because, hey, the same way Rome fell is the same way America is going to fall. That's the same, a infrastructure kingdom, the same thing. So when you look at the history of how Rome fell, it says that there wasn't a specific pinpoint of why Rome fell. Right? It was a combination of political views. It was a combination of inflation, economic problems. It was a combination of a war, right? Outside attacks, right? It was a combination of all that to make this Rome fall. Can't pinpoint it. And one thing that all these historians, all these people that know about Rome, they're saying that America is falling the same way that Rome fell. Right? The same thing of a philosophical views. Right? We're seeing the division on the political scale. Right? You got the right versus the left, Democrats versus the Republicans. Right? And they're constantly at odds. We have that conflict. Second is we have the philosophical view. Right? This place is getting more and more wicked. Right? And it's only going to get more and more wicked as the years go by. So, hey, people have a problem with that. Okay, all these so-called Christians that believe in white Jesus Christ and that whole doctrine, hey, to a certain extent, they know that homosexuality is not to be uplifted, right? So they're gonna come in contrast to that. That's division right there. Third, economically, right? America has 35, 34 trillion dollars in debt, right? You search up right now, U.S. debt clock. You see a live debt clock of America. And what you're seeing on that website is a ticking time bomb, right? There's no way we can pay off that debt. What you're seeing is a time bomb of America's destruction. There's going to be a point in time, whether it's 37, 40 trillion, that it gets to a point where it implodes because as the debt keeps going up, okay, the value of the dollar is going to be going down. They're only going to, every single time the debt goes up, hey, America's just printing more and more money. That's not backed by anything. So as you print more and more and more and more money, the dollar becomes devalued. So you have to use more dollars to buy the basic necessities. So putting that in simple terms, hey, your bread that costs $10 eventually will cost 100. Okay, that's called hyperinflation, and that's inevitably what it's going to get to. Hyperinflation. So economically, this place is on a downtrend. It's going down. A third, right? As I said, war. What are we seeing right now? America is backing nations that are literally at war. America is funding Ukraine and Israel billions of dollars, millions of dollars. Okay, weeks, months, every single month they're sending money over there. That's gonna drag us in. You know, these nations, they know that that America is at the back of everything. America is sending military technology to Ukraine and Israel to use. They know that. It actually happened recently. Ukraine used the first American missile or something like that to shoot to Russia. And Russia literally came out saying, I think it was like a couple of weeks ago, hey, if Ukraine uses any type of military technology that is not made by them, what's going to happen is that hey, we're going to have to go. It says we're going to have to go to war with the nations that are backing them. So they literally said that 1 week or the same day that it happened, and it happened. So all of that is conflict. So we have politically, we have on the military side, we have economically, philosophically, right? All of that is going to get to the point of this place going down. Okay, and it's inevitable. It's inevitable. America, Trump is not going to make America great again. Biden is not going to make America great again. No type of laws, legislations, policies that they push are going to make this place come back. Because Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai has said so. Let's get that in Jeremiah. In Jeremiah chapter 51, in verse 7, it says, Babylon has been a golden cup in Yahweh's hand that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? So Babylon has been a cup, a golden cup in the Lord's hand, showing you that the Lord, and He's the one controlling it. Right? He wants to pour a little bit over here, over there, over there. He's the one that's got it in his hand. The Lord's got this place by a chokehold, the whole earth. It says, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad. Right? So what is the wine talking about? The wine is talking about the philosophy, the way, okay? The wine of America, the philosophy of America. Let me reread it. It says, that made all the earth drunken. The nations have drunken of her wine. The nations have drunken of her wine is going into how these nations have pretty much followed the American way. These nations have followed the Western way. Which, what is the Western way? Wickedness, okay? Feminism. All that is the wine of America. And the nations are drunk on it, you know? And it says that the nations have drunken of her wine, therefore the nations are mad, right? Because all these nations are realizing that the American way is not beneficial, right? Once they start, hey, once their daughters start going on TikTok, start seeing Cardi B, Megan Thee Stallion, Ice Spice, all these thoughts, hey, their daughters want to be like that. Their so-called righteous daughters that they had, the hijabs on, out here being modest, you know, all these Saudi Arabian countries, that's the way they operate. But they're seeing their daughters turn to straight prostitutes, right? They hate that. They're seeing their young men, right, that have morals, that are out here doing what they need to do, to the so-called righteousness. Their young boys now want to be out here throwing ass. Their young boys now want to be a homosexual, man upon man. Right? They see all that and it pisses them off. Right? Because where is this coming from? Why are their kids like that? Because of America and what these Americans push. And that's happening everywhere. Okay? The whole world, all nations have drunken of that wine. It's called Americanization. You go to China today, on every single downtown, every single corner, you got a McDonald's. Right? What are they putting in that McDonald's? Poison. Oh, a perfect example of the nations being mad about the wine. I think it's over there in Africa. If I remember correctly, it was Africa or one of those countries. Pretty much what happened is that a KFC got established in one of those countries, one of those dark-skinned countries. And what happened is that KFC, it was expensive. Only the rich were eating KFC. And it was seen like as a delicacy. KFC was seen as a delicacy. Oh, only the rich can afford that. And what happened is that all of a sudden, all these rich people, that are eating KFC as a delicacy, they start getting fat. And they start having a heart attacks, heart problems, obesity. And all these people are like, what's going on here? I thought they were eating the finest of the finest. Turns out that they weren't. Right? They were literally eating poison. So, what does that show you right there? These people were looking at KFC as this golden thing, but it was actually killing them. And once they realized that, hey, this food is killing us, hey, they completely banned all that KFC bullshit. Nobody was eating there no more. So, that's part of the nations being mad, hey, for drinking that wine. For realizing that everything this place pushes is destructive. The food, the water, the mindset, it's all meant to destroy you. The reason why is because, hey, this place pushes wickedness. This place pushes, hey, go away from the way of the Most High, which leads to death. Let's keep reading. It says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, if so she may be healed. Right. So it says that this place suddenly fell. Suddenly it got destroyed. Okay. The reason it's suddenly going to be destroyed is because of those nuclear missiles. Right. That's the ultimate is a nuclear missiles on this place. It says in Revelation, the 18th chapter, that in 1 hour Babylon has fallen. Okay. Go look at the technology of how that can happen. Intercontinental ballistic missiles. Okay, Russia has the technology of sending hypersonic missiles over here in under an hour. That's not a coincidence. So it says Babylon is suddenly fallen and destroyed. Howl for her, take balm for her pain, so she may be healed. It says we would have healed Babylon, but she is not healed. Forsake her and let us go every one into his own country. For her judgment reacheth unto heaven and is lifted up even to the skies. Right? So it says, hey, we would have healed Babylon if it was possible. Right? If it was possible to heal this place, we would have done it. But guess what? She is not healed. So it shows that no matter what these nations push, this place is not coming back. America is not going to be great again. America is not going to be white again. It's impossible because the Lord has ordained it. So it says, jumping down, about how this is going to happen. When you read in verse 50, or chapter 50, and verse 9, it says, for lo, I will raise and cause to come up against Babylon an assembly of great nations from the north country, and they shall set themselves in array against her. From thence she shall be taken. Their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Right, so this is going into how Babylon is going to fall. Right, it says that he's going to have an assembly of great nations come together. Right, so a bunch of nations are going to get together. Right, you got a bunch of nations over here, and they're going to set themselves in array. They're going to prepare. And from over here, right, so it says, from thence she shall be taken. Right, so hold up, my camera. Turn. But it says, so you have all these nations over here, you got America over here. It says, from thence she shall be taken. So, from over here, all the way across the seas, America is going to be taken. How is that going to happen? It says, their arrows shall be as of a mighty expert man, none shall return in vain. Right, so it says that hey, they shot arrows from over here to Babylon. That's talking about hypersonic missiles. Okay, it's all symbolic. So that's how this place is going to go down. It says, and Chaldea shall be a spoil, and all that spoil her shall be satisfied, saith Yahweh. Right, so this place is going to be a spoil. And all that spoil this place are going to be satisfied. Right, because they're going to accomplish exactly what they plan to do. Okay? They're going to be like, hey, finally, this is going to be their mindset. It's going to be, finally, and we've taken down America. Now we can be the ones to rule this place. Right? Russia, China, they're going to be like, hey, finally, now we can rule this earth that these Americans have gone down. But guess what? Yahweh Shai is going to come back to take them down. Now, these nations think that they're going to be the next ones in power. Nah, Yahweh Shai is going to come back to set up the kingdom of heaven. Okay, that's why when you go to Revelation, it talks about how there's a man who had many crowns upon his head. This is Revelation chapter 19. In verse 11 it says, and I saw heaven open, and behold a white horse, and he that sat upon him was called faithful and true, and in righteousness he doth judge and make war. And this is talking about Yahweh Shai. It says, and his eyes were as a flame of fire, and on his head were many crowns. And he had a name written that no man knew but himself. Right? So And what does that show you? It says that on his head were many crowns. Now, why does it say that? It says that because when he comes back, and he's coming to take all the crowns of these kings, these rulers. Okay, he's coming down to destroy all these kingdoms and to rule he himself. Okay, and the whole thing about the crowns, the reason it says that is because anciently, that's what the king used to do. If you go and destroy a kingdom, and you would take the king's crown, right, to show that you took him down, right, proof. A lot of times they also cut off the head, you know. Then there's an example of David. What he actually did was um, he took off all the foreskin of all the men he killed, right, to show Saul that and he did, he did it. Which that's a whole different story. The whole story was that Saul, um, David's brother, I don't remember the story off the top exactly, so I'm not gonna quote it. I don't want to butcher it. But the point is that Yahweh Shai is coming back to rule, right, to set up the kingdom of heaven, and that's what we're low key, not low key. That's what we're high key waiting for, is for him to come back for us to rule in righteousness. Okay, that's when, we're gonna experience true peace. It talks about how, the Lord is gonna take away all crying from the nation of Israel. We're no longer gonna cry anymore because there's not gonna be anything to cry about. Right? Your loved ones are not gonna pass away. You're gonna have anything. You're gonna have anything your heart desires. Right? You want gold, you're gonna have it. It talks about how, Israel, the holy city, the streets are gonna be made out of gold. Let's get that. Right. Listen to this. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 21, it says, this is all describing the kingdom. Right? It's already described in Revelation, the 21st chapter, how it's going to be. Literally to the perfect measurement. It says, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls, so 12 gates symbolizing the 12 tribes of Israel. Every several gate was worth one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. Right? So the streets of the city are going to be pure gold. Okay, so pure that it's literally transparent. Okay, like you're looking through it. That's going to be insane. It says, right, and this keeps on describing. It says, I'm going to read a little bit. It says, and the building of the wall of it was of jasper, and the city was pure gold like unto clear glass. And the foundations of the wall of the city were garnished with all manner of precious stones. The first foundation was jasper, the second sapphire, the third a chalcedony, the fourth an emerald, the fifth sardonyx, the sixth sardius, the seventh chrysolite, the eighth a beryl, the ninth a topaz, the tenth a chrysoprasus, the 11th a jacinth, the 12th an amethyst. Right? And then it reads what I said. And the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl. And the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass. So imagine that, right? That's why it says that, no man has earned, no man. Let me get that in Isaiah. I hath seen. Isaiah chapter 64 and verse 4 says, for since the beginning of the world, men have not heard nor perceived by the ear, neither have the eye seen, O God, beside thee, what he hath prepared for him that waited for him. Right? So, we can't possibly comprehend, what the kingdom is going to be like, right? Because it's going to be beyond our greatest imagination. Right? It's going to be something that, we're going to be in shock, like, damn, this is what you were talking about, right? We only had and we're gonna look back at the trials now. We're gonna be like, damn, we only had to go through this little bit of suffering to get this, right? It's gonna be. That's why it says. Paul said, let me bring that up. how this is a light affliction. In 2 Corinthians chapter 4 and verse 16 it says, "For which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day." Right? So the outward man, the flesh, every single day is perishing. And every single day we go through things we don't want to go through. Right? And it talks about how the life of the believers is going to be pure hell. Right? We're going to catch hard times. Right? All of a sudden you got body problems. Right? I'm I feel that right now, right? Perfect shape, work out, run, do all these things, but all of a sudden I got a pain on my side, coming literally out of nowhere. When I eat super healthy, you know. Paul talked about that. He talked about how he had a thorn on his side, right? But he had to bear that for Yahweh Shah Mashiach. And that no matter what he did, that thorn on his side wouldn't go away. That was just part of his condition, his trial, his battle. So for which cause we faint not, but though our outward man perish, yet the inward man is renewed day by day. Right? So just the flesh, the outward man is perishing, but every single day you're diligent, you're on point with your studies, okay, you're reading, you're fasting, the inward man is being renewed. Okay, your spirit is becoming stronger. It says, "For our light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory." Right? So, he said that what we're going through right now is a light affliction. Okay, it's nothing compared to what we're gonna receive. Immortality. Okay, imagine suffering for a moment. Okay, maybe let's say, hey, let's give the max time frame. Let's say that Yahushua doesn't even come in our lifetime, and I live out to be 80 years old. Hey, what is 80 years old to immortality? What is 80 years to immortality? That's the mindset you're supposed to have. Okay? None of this, it can be compared to what we're going to receive. For a light affliction, which is but for a moment, worketh for us a far more exceeding and eternal weight of glory. While we look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. For the things which are seen are temporal, but the things which are not seen are eternal. Right? So every single day we're walking, we're doing this work, and we're looking for things that are eternal. Our mind is not on, what's here today? Okay. The only way to make it long term, okay, and have faith unto the end is to think about the end goal. Think about what you're doing this for. Think about the things that are not seen. So, hey, we're living in some beautiful times. Hey, it's a beautiful, beautiful feeling to know you're an Israelite. First and foremost, the fact that we're Israelites, so-called Latinos, Negroes, and Native Americans as a collective, the fact that we're Israelites, that's a blessing in itself, right? Because at the end of the day, we know what's written. Okay, at the end of the day, all Israel shall be saved. So, being born an Israelite, blessing. Now, even more in between it. Being born an Israelite, that at the end of the days is believing and having faith, that's even more of a blessing. Now, for the men out there teaching, being born an Israelite, having faith in the end days, and teaching the word, waking up the nation of Israel, that's the greatest blessing that we can receive. Right? 144,000, 12,000 from each of the 12 tribes. So, I count myself blessed, man. Hopefully, I'm part of that number. Lord willing, man, I strive to the end. Hey, Lord willing. Out here, week in and week out, brothers worldwide doing the work, week in and week out, bringing out the prophecies of the scriptures, and they're happening right in front of us. Doing this, as it says, in season and out of season, going to be out here while it's snowing. That's what it's about. So I'll just leave it there, man. Lord willing. Hey, brothers, sisters out there, stay strong, because it's looking like there's not a lot of time left. So hopefully this is edifying with that and give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh by Shema, by Shai, by Shem, by Josh. double honors to the other bishops in a positive way. No stone, that's how the truth. Shalom to that. Shalom.